United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Covert.
Aye. Here. Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
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 Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve our agenda.
We'll move.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those same sign. Motion carries. We now have our consent agenda. I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion approved is presented. Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, so, let's see, Administrator just stepped out. I'm going to move over to Mike. Mike, do you have something for Public Works?
We've established a new water service for the coffee shop at the mall that we need to move for the trail to start. Sewer and power will be going in. We'll pour that back. So then it'll be the next step is when we close them, we can move the shed one day and get them hooked back up and get them back online, hopefully. And other than that, like Greg said, we got a pre-con coming up for this new project. We'll be able to meet the contractor, all the subs, and get everything in line so we can get that moving. That's about all I got.
Thank you. Greg, while you were gone, I moved ahead a little bit, so if you want to.
Thank you much. Forgot my list in there. I think I already mentioned to you at the last meeting, we had about 3,200 left in fundraising. We have the two events coming forward, the UT event, which expect to be over the top here shortly. The 4th of July railroad permit, occupancy permit was submitted last week to get that process started. It's a lengthy one. I sent on, there was a note on House Study Bill 633. Encourage you to take a look at that. And making local government elections partisan versus apolitical. I think it's a poor move, but I encourage you to take a look at that as well. I also sent out previously the Chamber Business After Hours calendar. I encourage you to try to get those on your schedule. Last I looked, Brad mentioned this morning, we had one vehicle at 2,600 and one at 4,000 and change, I believe. So those bids will be coming due shortly. True trucks for sale that we had, and
When's that in?
I'm sorry?
When does that end?
You remember? Is it this Friday? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Coffee and Conversation, Kelly put out some tentative dates on here as well. And then we were maybe thinking about even doing an evening one, more like a chamber kind of a business after hours, but we wouldn't be picking up that, but maybe we would still offer coffee or other refreshments. But if people wanted to have something else, I kind of thought that was an interesting idea. We might get a different crowd or even a bigger crowd. There was a large crowd at the business after hours at the Broadway last year that was done with the chamber. I guess that was the public officials reception last year. So I'd like to continue those coffee and conversation pieces as well.
I think the next one's scheduled for
15th. February 15th,
February 15th.
April 18th, July 18th, and October 17th.
Do we just want to stick with coffee, or do you want to try something different?
Don't we have a council meeting on the 15th that night?
Oh, yeah, we're going to have to.
Aren't we meeting at 5
That was in the
o'clock?
morning. That one we can still do in the morning, but maybe on the 18th, we could look at maybe doing it more like a business after hours.
March?
April,
In
it says.
There's almost nowhere to park up here in the morning, so the Broadway is probably a great spot to have coffee at some
There's
point in
people
time, if we want to actually talk to people.
We had fewer people show up at the Broadway for the coffee than we did at the mall. That last one at the mall was,
Yeah, it's good.
ended up being pretty well attended. And that's really all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Jesse, Police Department?
Just going on a little bit with what Greg just stated, we had trivia night a couple weeks ago over at Eagles Club. We had 8 teams show up. We raised a little over $3,200. So we had a good night, good turnout, a lot of fun. We had a raffle or 50/50, and we had some baskets that local businesses put together. So overall, we did pretty good. So that's another thing that we plan on doing yearly is trivia night. Hopefully make it a little bit bigger. Fireside, Mark and I went out to SEC, looked at their safer room that they started building. They got the wall set, the roof set. So there's securing all that in place right now. And we have a county association meeting at the end of, or February 26th at Danville this month. So we all Des Moines County fire agencies get together, and we have an association that we all meet and just plan training and different things. So our next one's February 26th.
Okay, thank you. Anything from the building department, Greg?
Mainly this piece, nuisances, Brush Town, we're looking at doing a comprehensive, looking at tackling that comprehensively. They, before the snow hit, took a bunch of pictures. Brad flew the drone out there as well. We're doing a little research on the easements, and then before too long here, we're going to pull everything together and just do it all at once. There's a number of issues out there that we need to address. Lack of permits, illegal water taps, a substantial number of permits that haven't been done, junk up and behind there as well. But we're looking to tackle that all at once and kind of put a comprehensive plan together. But with the snow, more recently, it's gone now, but a little hard to tackle some of that with this weather, so.
Thank you. Kelly? Okay. Angie? Okay. Staff members, council members?
I don't have anything, Ron.
Trace?
No, I don't have anything.
Don?
I'll pass.
Okay. Andy?
I'll be brief. Two things. I went to the West Burlington basketball game last night, and I wanted to thank Jesse and our police force for being there. Saw at least Jesse in the stands and 3 different officers, so that was very good to have them there at the school for that. And a reminder, Business of the Year voting meeting is next Friday, I believe at 9:30 a.m. And then the third Thursday in March, so March 21st, is when we'll announce if we could start planning for that announcement. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll pass.
Okay. I got an invite here for City Council, if they'd like to go to the West Burlington United Way meeting, their 2024 meeting. They're going to have a luncheon at 12. They'll have a meeting following and then some awards afterwards. It's on March the 8th, so if you're interested in that, we have an RSVP by the 24th of this month. So either let me or Kelly know and we'll send a request. With that, I suspect our citizens don't want to talk here. So we'll go into our public meeting. We have a public hearing on a proposed development agreement with J&B West Burlington LP. Proposed development agreement between company and West Burlington City. Anyone want to speak on this particular agreement?
Not much new here. This is we're simply continuing the process. We held all the appropriate meetings and continuing the development agreement. I'll most likely hold the development agreement until the property changes hand, and then we'll have them sign at that point in time. But we'll be able to get things done and approved, and then as soon as the property transfers, we'll have them sign the agreement.
With that and seeing no other public input, I'll close the public hearing. Move on to new business. Consider the second reading and waiving the final reading of an ordinance providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the West Burlington urban renewal area pursuant to Section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa.
So move.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion on this item? If not, I'll call for a roll call vote.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carries. Move on to second item. We'll consider a resolution approving development agreement with JMB West Burlington LP, authorizing annual appropriation tax increment payments and pledging certain tax increment revenues to the payment of the agreement.
So move.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion of any kind on this?
Just a quick item. There's, again, nothing new here. They've reviewed the agreement as well and added some of the required information in there. I received a call today from an individual indicating that they had heard that the project was changing and it wasn't going to be a senior housing project. When I showed him it was not, and it cannot, and it's the funding that they received, the tax credits they received, and the two programs received are for the senior housing project. I don't know where the rumor came from, but the project is still on board. They were out there. They did one call so that the engineering firm was looking at utilities. The survey folks have been out there. They'll tentatively early May start construction. And get things going. But it has to be a senior housing project in order to meet the requirements of the tax credit program that they applied for and received funding for.
So Greg, did you call him? You know the guy. Did you?
Yeah, I
call
called him back to let him know.
I think maybe it was misquoted in one of the papers. They forgot to add senior. They had low to moderate, but they forgot senior
Really?
is where it came up.
Yeah, I called him back. He was fine.
And he's fine. He confirmed it.
Oh, wait. Are you talking about Chris, or are you talking about? Oh, no, I didn't call the developer. I called the gentleman back that called asking the question.
Yeah.
I've been in contact with Chris regarding the development agreement, which is for senior housing, and these are that's what we've been working on, is the agreement. We're moving forward with it as is, so.
But he didn't say anything different.
No, and then certainly they wouldn't
They wouldn't
agree
went
to
this
the
way.
agreement.
Okay, I'm
The
just,
funding's contingent upon.
They're involved in some projects with Annie Wittenmeyer up in Davenport.
They got a project in Burlington. I mean, there's two different individuals. One's working in Burlington, one working out here. Chris is going to be the project manager, I believe, for both of them. But there's two separate applications for approved in the area. They've done projects between Burlington and the Quad Cities and Illinois too. But basically that north-south stretch, try to keep everything in line and close together from a management perspective.
Seeing no other discussion, I'll call for a roll call.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner,
I have to abstain due to conflict.
Johnson,
aye.
Motion carries. Our third item is consider approval of tentative agreement with the Public Works Department bargaining unit.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion?
This is just the formal action on the agreement that was TA'd. I've just been waiting to get the paperwork back from the union rep, and in fact, Your Honor, if you could get this signed, and I'd like to get it uploaded as soon as, or over to them and uploaded as soon as possible to the PERB board at the state, so.
No problem. Roll call?
Crowner,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Covert.
Aye. Motion carries. Consider entering into a contract for legal services with Lynch Dallas PC.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion support. Discussion?
as I had presented earlier, the Lynch Dallas had recently requested an increase in their fees consistent with our neighboring cities and their other municipalities that they work with. We don't do a lot with Lynch Dallas. They're there when we need their support. You will see us, Steve Leidinger does a lot of their property work that he's helped on the planning and zoning side. And he's the gentleman that will be discussing 657A process with and acquiring abandoned properties, et cetera. When we get into that, those discussions, he'll be the one that we deal with on their side of the table. Pat does most of just the general work.
Seeing no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, consider recommendation from the fire department to promote firefighter Pogomiller to lieutenant.
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? Not, call for a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Seeing no citizen inquiries, council will hold a closed session in accordance with the Iowa Code Section 21.5.1J to discuss the purchase of particular real estate only where premature disclosure would be reasonably expected to increase the price of the governmental body would have to pay for the property. Enter into that in about 5 minutes.
And Your Honor, that'll just be a real short meeting, and we'll be back out here to do budget.